What is up, YouTube? It's SpookyLoopz, and I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I was fortunate enough to play in the PTB for a few days with the release of Mikaela Reid. And with Mikaela Reid came two Boon Totem perks, one of them being a Circle of Healing and the other one being Shadowstep. There's been a lot of questions that I've been asked on my stream about, like, does perks like NOED take priority over Boon Totems and so on and so forth. I wanted to make this video today to kind of clear up some of the confusion that may occur with Boon Totems, answer some questions, show you Shadowstep in a live review, and also and talk about ways that I would like to change Boon Totems. Of course, you know, all based on my opinion, but hopefully you enjoy the video. While I got you here, I do appreciate everyone that has tuned into the channel and subscribed so far. We just surpassed 60,000 subscribers, which is awesome. I'm trying to actually get to 100,000 by the end of the year. So if you're new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Hit that bell notification so you're notified next time a new video goes up. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, so a few days ago, I went into a Kill Your Friends lobby with a couple of buddies, and we wanted to test some of the effects that these Boon Totems have. Now, I know in the PTB, there's a lot of excitement around the new Survivor, so pretty much all my killer games were 4 Mikaelas, 4 Boon Totems up pretty much all the time. And I think there's a couple of things that are a little alarming about this. Now, I don't want to jump the gun too soon because it is the PTB, and obviously things can change. But right now, in this segment right here, we're going to be testing the benefits of Hex Plaything. So what we did is there's obviously, 5 totems on the map. We've destroyed 3 of them, and then we decided to bless the other 2 totems. So we didn't cleanse them, so the totems still stand. We turned them into Boon Totems. One of the cool things about Mikaela is she has Boon Circle of Healing and Boon Shadowstep. So once you bless one totem, both perks apply in that 128 meter radius. So currently right now, we are blessing these 2 totems, one from me and one from my other friend. We're going to test to see if I'll still suffer from the Oblivious status effect from Hex Plaything if both Boon Totems are up. Alrighty, up I go. Teammate saves, and I am not suffering from the Oblivious status effect whatsoever. So both Boon Totems have stayed. Now, the interesting thing, you're probably wondering, we also wanted to test to see if the killer were to snuff the totem. If, for instance, Plaything would then persist after that, and unfortunately that is not the case. So, blessing a totem is obviously the same benefits as just cleansing it. So, yeah, Hex Plaything is completely gone. So, another thing I wanted to test was, does Hex No One Escapes Death take priority in the late game if all 5 gens have been powered on and all the totems are occupied with boons? So the Legion that's in our Kill Your Friends lobby is running, obviously Plaything, also Hex No One Escapes Death. The last 2 totems that remain on the map are both occupied by Boon Totems, and here's the test. And of course, Hex No One Escapes Death does not proc. So something that you have to keep in mind going forward, if you are a killer that is running Hex No One Escapes Death, you have to at least make sure that at least one totem is not occupied by a Boon Totem. So you can simply go over to it and snuff it. I know it's a lot of juggling that you'll have to do as far as having to snuff the totem prior to the last gen popping. If all the totems are occupied with Boon Totems and you're not able to snuff the totem prior to the last gen finishing, No One Escapes Death will not proc either. I found that to be very interesting. So hopefully that answers that question for you. Plaything, Hex Third Seal, Hex No One Escapes Death. If there are no totems available, obviously those killer perks are not going to proc on the totems because they are occupied by boons. Another thing as well here, which you notice, is if the survivor that blessed one of the totems and dies in the trial, it is now snuffed instantly. So something to keep in mind as well too. So if you're playing against 4 survivors that are all running Boon Totems, once you kill one, obviously you can only apply 1 Boon Totem per survivor at any given time. And what we did just here is there was 2 totems remaining. My survivor friend died. Their Boon Totem got snuffed by the entity because they died, and then I reapplied it, and then it transferred my boon from one side to the other. You can't ever have 2 going at the same time. But let's take a look at Shadowstep. I want to show you some interesting stuff with that. So now we're going to be testing some of the effects of Shadowstep. In case you don't know what Shadowstep does, if you're a survivor that is within the radius of a Boon Shadowstep totem, your scratch marks are hidden. They also persist for 4 seconds after you leave the area, and your aura is not revealed to the killer whatsoever. So the build that I'm running right now is Barbecue and Chili, I'm All Ears, A Nurse is Calling, and Hex Retribution. So what we're going to do is we're going to have these survivors set up these totems, and then we're going to test the effects on all 4 of my killer perks and see how they go. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to let the survivor wiggle off and then give you an idea of what it looks like. Now, scratch marks are gone, but you do still see pools of blood, obviously. But what I want them to do is I want them to kind of go behind this rock right here and heal and give you an idea. And as you can tell, she's running around, no scratch marks whatsoever. And they are now healing the injured survivor, so A Nurse is Calling should definitely pick that up. No aura reading ability whatsoever, because they are within the radius of Boon Shadowstep. And here's a good example of what it looks like. So with Shadowstep, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, there's no scratch marks. You see 2 survivors. There should be scratch marks all over the place. These effects will still persist, like I mentioned, for 4 seconds after they leave this area as well. So if the survivor runs away, they still get the effects of that. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be testing the effects of the Ghostface Teachable I'm All Ears. Survivor is going to drop the pallet, then fast vault around it. Now we're still within the range of Boon Shadowstep. As you can see, the totem is still there. Now, the interesting thing about this is I'm not getting any aura reading ability whatsoever from the perk I'm All Ears. However, I'm suffering from the cooldown of it. So even though I don't see them, I don't get the benefits of seeing their auras like the perk is designed, I still kind of get shafted with the cooldown when it comes to that. The next thing that we're going to be testing is Hex Retribution. My Hex Retribution totem is actually behind me. That survivor is standing over there by the rock. In case you notice, in the PTB, Hex Retribution got a little bit of a rework, so the effect persists a little bit longer. Retribution is map-wide, however, so my totem has now been cleansed, and no aura reading ability because the survivor is within the range of that Shadowstep Boon totem. And the last thing that we're going to be testing is, which is really important, is the effects of a very, very popular meta perk, Barbecue and Chili. If you don't know what Barbecue and Chili does, every time I hook a survivor, any survivor that's outside of 40 meters, I'm able to see their aura for a few moments, unless they're hiding within the 40-meter range or they are in a locker. I hook the survivor, no idea where she is. I know where she is, obviously, because we know where the Boon Totem is, but I have no idea where the survivor is whatsoever. So we still get the benefits. We do get the blood point benefits of Barbecue and Chili. Unfortunately, we don't get any aura reading ability because of Shadowstep. Now, we didn't really talk about Circle of Healing. Circle of Healing is same thing like Shadowstep. As long as you're within that meter range from a Boon Totem, you get 100% speed increase to your healing. So your teammates are able to heal you super duper fast, and you're able to heal yourself. So you unlock self-care without actually having a med kit or equipping self-care as it is. There's a really interesting video that Scott Junn made about 2 survivors healing an injured survivor, and they actually heal the full health state before the killer can hit them again to down them. So he hits, survivor gets healed, hits, survivor gets healed. It's a little wild. So after you've seen all of this, this raises the question, are these Boon Totems a little too strong? Now, don't get me wrong, I am a killer main, but I do play a lot of Survivor as well, too, and I'm all about, trying to make this crazy game as balanced as possible, if it can be. Here's something to remember. Boon Totems do not help the survivors find your Hex Totems faster. If the survivor's going to come across your Hex Totem, they're going to come across your Hex Totem, just like how it's been for the last 5 years, right? The issue that I have with this situation is the survivor, 1, is able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. 1, they're able to get rid of the Hex perk, and 2, they're able to apply assets to their team. So, for instance, we saw how strong Shadowstep can be in just a small area. Now, if you can imagine what it's like having 4 of those up at one given time. Here's a real issue that I personally have with Boon Totems. There's no consequence, there's no risk for the survivor whatsoever. There's no critical thinking. It's literally, if they're going to break my Hex Totem, that's completely fine. That's just how the game goes, right? But When a survivor comes up to a hex totem or a dole totem, there's really no thinking that needs to happen in this situation. You would want to bless it. Perks like Inner Strength, Counter Force, even the new Mikaela Reid perk, Clairvoyance, there's really no reason for you to cleanse a totem because you're kind of just cannibalizing your team's resources, right? So what every survivor is going to do is they're going to bless those totems, right? Because the effects of Circle of Healing and Shadowstep, especially in a wide radius, if all 4 are up, are incredibly strong, in my opinion. There's 2 ways that I think these could be changed that would bring a little bit more interaction between both parties and, kind of balance them out a little bit. The first way that I would do it is if the survivor comes up and decides to bless a hex totem. While the totem persists, the survivor gets the benefits of that boon totem, and I suffer the consequence of having my hex totem gone. As a killer, having to manage 7 generators and 4 survivors and making sure that I am completing all my objectives before they all leave. Yes, don't get me wrong, snuffing a totem takes 1 second. It is not long at all. However, it's something else to juggle in the grand scheme of things. So how I would like to see it happen would kind of create like this tug of war type scenario where the killer would be able to go up to the blessed totem, snuff it, returning it back to its original state, which was the hex perk. If I'm running Hex Ruin or No One Escapes Death, or Third Seal, whatever the case may be, the survivor is now made aware of that perk and is forced to make a decision. One, whether to break the totem entirely so both sides no longer have the benefit. They don't have to suffer from being cursed by a hex totem. Or 2, re-blessing it and being able to deal with Ruin potentially coming back, or Haunted Ground potentially coming back, or Devour Hope coming back, whatever the case may be, right? That's what I would like to see. I think that'd be a really cool interaction, having a tug of war between both sides until ultimately the survivor decides enough's enough. We need to break these totems. Something that we didn't really cover in this video yet so far was if I'm a killer and I snuff the totem, and let's say a survivor's hiding around the corner, yes, I know this is very situational, but if survivor's nearby, they see me snuff the totem, they instantly can come back and reapply the boon totem. It takes 15 seconds to bless the totem, it's back up, and then rinse, wash, and repeat type thing. So I think by going the first option with the tug of war option, I think it'd be really cool. If the survivor is going to get the benefits of these boon totems, I should be able to have the option to bring my hex perk back, forcing them to make a decision or deal with the consequence of me potentially being able to curse them again with my hex totem. The second idea that I had, which I think would be kind of cool, is whenever I come up to a boon totem and I snuff it, I break the totem entirely. So boon totem can't come back. Hex is gone. Boon totem, they got their benefits. The survivor team got their benefits from Shadowstep or Circle of Healing. But if I snuff the totem, I break the dole totem entirely. I don't think that'd be super hard to code. I think that'd be very easy. And then obviously would kind of eliminate, this game is all about elimination. Resources like pallets get eliminated as the trial goes on. Generators, your playing field gets compressed as the game goes on towards the end of the match. So by me eliminating boon totems and snuffing them out by breaking the totem entirely so that they cannot be re-blessed, I think it'd be also a good approach to that. And like I said, I don't have any problem with them blessing my hex totem because at the end of the day, before boon totems existed, they would just break the totem anyway, right? So I think those are 2 options that are definitely viable and kind of force both sides to make a decision what they're going to do. That's kind of my idea. I would love to hear what you guys think about boon totems. How do you think this is going to impact the future of Dead by Daylight? Which way do you think? Or please let me know down in the comments if you have any suggestions and ways that you think boon totems should be changed or how they can be reworked in some way that would kind of be a little bit more balanced and stuff like that. Would love to hear what you think. And don't forget to subscribe. We are 40,000 subs away, give or take. From 100,000, which is the goal we're trying to get to by the end of the year. In case you didn't know, I do stream full-time on Twitch every Saturday through Tuesday, starting at 4 p.m. PST till about midnight. You can find me at twitch.tv/SpookyLoopz. We'd love to have you come over and say hi. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Take care.